إلى حضرة النبي المصطفى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وتابعيه تابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ثم إلى أرواح آبائنا وأمهاتنا عاجلة جداتنا ورجال المسلمين والمسلمات مؤمنين ومؤمنات الأخيار أموات شيء لله لهم الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. To all those in attendance, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We now will talk about the world of the Sufis. The world of the Sufis and the world of the Sharia is two different worlds. One is more for the exterior, the Sharia, whereas the Sufism are more of the interior or spiritual. There are two different branches, and they can work together, but it cannot be one. Two different separate entities. Whereas Sharia are more concerned about rules and regulations of the several schools or mazhabs. Sufism is only concerned with the divinity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Sufis are trained in the knowledge of the divinity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are specialized and skilled in that one aspect, the knowledge of the divinity of God. That is Sufism. And the Sufis are the people who learn about this subject, knowledge of the divinity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, such as his attributes, his essence, his master plan, is omnipresent and so on. We'll come to that later. But that's basically Sufism about is different from Sharia. So the first thing in the world of Sufi, you must have the knowledge of the divinity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his attributes, his essence, his deeds or actions, his master plans and others. So we start with history, how his knowledge of the divinity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arises or arose. But before that, Imam Ghazali say it is obligatory for you to know who you worship before you do your worship. Obligatory. You don't know who you worship, then who are you worshiping? You must know who you worship. You must know your employer. Otherwise, who are you working for? And that's why Imam Ghazali is obligatory, compulsory, that you must know who you worship before you worship him. And to be a Sufi, you must have this knowledge. Who you worship, the knowledge of God, you must have it in order to be a Sufi. And that is the pertinent condition, the outright or the outset, the main condition of a Sufi he must have knowledge of God, knowledge of divinity of God. And Syekh Abdul Qadir Jalani, a well-known Sufi, said, a person worship is incomplete if he does not know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You must know who you worship. So, you see, this introduction already show you is different from Sharia. And these are basically what the prophets, I say prophets, been teaching at the outset their followers to know God. Not the school, the various mazhab, the law and regulation of mazhab, no. To know God. All the prophets taught their people to know God. There's one God and to worship Him. That is the main thing, the main da'wah, the main mission of all prophets, to teach the people to know God. But nowadays, the approach is different. If you are in this area, Southeast Asia areas, you are taught the rules and regulations of the Shafi'i school. If in Pakistan, India, the Hanafi, the rules and regulations. Further up, Hanbali, and then you have the Maliki. But these are not the mission work of the prophets. They are people who are unbelievers. So the main burden they carry is to make the people, their people, know God. And that is what they say, awaluddin ma'rifatullah. The first thing in religion is to know God. So that is a job of all prophets. So you see the importance of this, that if you don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how you worship Him? And if you don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how can your worship be complete? And that's what Syekh Abdul Qadir Jalani said. And for Sufi, you must know who Allah is before you do your worship. And because of the importance of this, Allah, before we were born, had introduced Himself to us. So that we will not say, I don't know you, O Allah, so I can't worship you. You have no excuse. Every individual spirit before born, you get soul or spirit. Every individual spirit before it is born, or they or she or he born, was already introduced to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala already introduced Himself as the first one who teach is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you see the Surah Al-Araf, verse 172. When thy Lord drew forth from the children of Adam, from their loins, their descendants, before you were born. And then He introduced Himself, am I not your Lord? And we say, yes, we do testify. So Allah said, I do this lest you say you are not reminded of it, or you are not mindful of it. So every spirit, before they were born, enter into this world, was already introduced to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you cannot say you don't know, or you cannot say, oh, we follow our ancestors. we are the descendant, their descendant. We follow what they did. So don't blame us. They don't worship you, we follow them. They worship the idol, we follow them. So don't blame us. No excuse. Allah said, lest you would say, our father before us may have taken false god, and we descendant after them. Will thou then destroy us because of the deed of men who are futile? So don't blame us. Blame our forefather. Don't blame us. You can't use that excuse. Every spirit, every individual spirit had been introduced to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Am I not your God? And we say, yes, we testify. And he took our testimony that he had introduced himself to us. Okay? And that is the reason why all men are created Muslim. All the son of Adam born a Muslim. But Satan misled them, and later on, their parents misled them to be unbelievers. But before they were born, they know about God. They were given the knowledge. And they're born Muslims. But because Satan and their cronies invaded the infants' minds and faith and so on, and they become unbelievers. And when they become unbelievers, their children follow suit. Okay? And you can see Allah, the knowledge of God was given to us during the realm of the spirits. And then we are born, and then we've forgotten about it because of the work of the Satans and so on. And that's why Rasulullah said, the newborn cried because he's harassed by Satan. Immediately we are born, they already come to invade us, to make us forget about the introduction of Allah to us during our stay in the spiritual world, or the realm of the spirits. So the evil one has got the better of them. So he has made them lose the remembrance of Allah, the knowledge he gave. We forgot. They are the party of the evil one. Truly, it is the party of the evil one that will perish. We join them, we will perish. Okay? And because Allah do not want us to perish, he sent the prophet. Okay? So we've forgotten about the knowledge given to us before we were born, the knowledge of God. So he sent 124,000 prophets. And Muhammad is the last of the prophets sent. The last. 124,000, and our prophet is the last prophet sent to the Ummah. And Allah sent this because we have forgotten about the knowledge given to us during the realm of the spirit. And Allah said, you are at the brink of hell, abyss of fire, hell. And he did save you from it by sending 134,000 prophets. We said, go down all of you from hence, but verily they come unto you from me a guidance as a prophet. And whoso followed my guidance, there shall no fear come upon them, neither shall they grieve. 124,000 prophets were sent. Now, prophet and messenger different. All messengers are prophets, but not all prophets are messengers. A prophet become messengers when they have the book, Torah, Gospel, or Bible, Quran, and so on. They are the messengers. Otherwise, they are prophets. So Allah sent 124,000 prophets, and some of them are messengers to save us, because we are at the brink, the edge of hell, falling into hell. Yeah? So he sent 124,000. And that's why Jesus said, truly I say to you that our God in creating man, not only created him righteous, but inserted in his heart a light that should show to him that it's fitting to serve God. What light is talking about? That's the light that he gave. Am I not your God? Has given us the knowledge. The knowledge of God, that is the light inserted. We are born with that knowledge. And we are born all Muslim. And that is the light. Wherefore, even if the light be darkened after sin, yet it is not extinguished. The light is still within us. For every nation has this desire to serve God because of this light in each individual person. Though they have lost God and serve false and lying gods, even though they mistook and went the wrong path. But they all have the desire to serve God. Accordingly, it is necessary that a man be taught by the prophet of God. So Jesus said that is why prophets were sent. Okay? For they have the clear light to teach the way to paradise. Just as it's necessary that he who has his eyes diseased should be guided and helped. So that's why prophets were sent, as Jesus said it. And again, Jesus said, truly I say unto you, that if the truths had not been erased in the book of Moses, that's Torah, God would not have given to David, our father, the second book. And if the book of David had not been contaminated, God would not have committed the gospel to me, saying that the Lord our God is unchangeable and has spoken but one message to all men, that is, I am your Lord, worship me. That's one message. Every prophet brings one message. There's one God, and worship him. Right? So Jesus said, the book of Moses corrupted, the book of David corrupted, and my gospel too will be corrupted. Wherefore, when the messenger of God, that is our prophet, shall come, he shall come to cleanse away all wherewith the ungodly have contaminated my book. So our prophet will come after Jesus and clear up the corruption in Bible, especially saying that Jesus is the Son of God and Jesus is God. Huh? This is just a prophet. And in the Quran is acknowledged this point. Have you any hope that they will be true to you when a party of them, they know about this, about our prophet being the last, the savior, the last one, the last of the prophet. When a party of them used to listen to the word of Allah, then used to change it after they understood it after understood it knowingly, they changed. I mean, the Torah, they changed the Bible, they changed. Okay? To hide this fact that our prophet is the last, the savior sent by God, the last prophet sent by God. Then we raised after them another generation, and we sent to them an apostle, a prophet, from among themselves. Oh, that 124,000, one generation after generation, Allah sent a prophet to guide them. Worship Allah. There's no other God but Him. Will ye not fear? So every generation, okay, after we raise after them another generation and send another prophet. 124,000 altogether. And we send no apostle before thee, before Muhammad, but we reveal unto him. There is no God save me, so worship me. So to them also, the previous prophet, before prophet, also the same message. There is no God but Allah. Worship Allah. So you see Noah. Oh my people, worship Allah. You have no other God but Him. Say, Noah. And then Hud, the same thing, Hud. Oh my people, serve Allah. You have no other God save Him. That's the one message that Jesus say every prophet is sent to pass to their ummah. Okay? Saleh, oh my people, serve Allah. You have no other God save Him. And Shuaib, same thing also. Oh my people, worship Allah. You have no God but Him. Abraham also the same. Worship God and be conscious of Him. This is the best for you if you but knew it. And Lord, will ye not fear Allah? Lo, I'm a faithful messenger unto you. Oh, fear Allah and obey me. And worship Allah. One day, one God, worship Him. Even Lord said, Moses also said, I have chosen you, Moses. Listen then to what is being revealed. Verily, I am Allah. So let's told with Moses, I am Allah. There's no God but I. So serve thou me only and establish regular prayer for celebrating my people. Moses was instructed the same thing, only one God, serve Him. Jesus also, the same thing. O children of Israel, worship Allah, my Lord and your Lord. Whoever joined other God with Allah, that will be rejected. But worship Allah, my Lord and your Lord. See, the same thing. One message, worship one God, one only, and worship Him. And therefore, religious Sufism is a common phenomenon in religion from the skies or from ancient Middle East. According to the record before the advent of Islam, before the coming of Islam, when the Mecca, people from Mecca left Mecca, a Sufi will come down and circumambulate around the Kaaba. See? This before the advent of Islam. It's only a Sufi. Yeah. And then when the Prophet migrated to Medina, upon knowing that Prophet Muhammad SAW was in Medina, 400 Sufis from the mountain and valley met the Holy Prophet in Medina and embraced Islam at its time. These are Sufis in existence before the advent of Islam. The Holy Prophet placed them in his mosque together with other companions who migrated from Medina, from Mecca to Medina, and they were called the Sufa. So after the Prophet demised, their companions have to carry out their work. Okay? And in Rasulullah, in our case, Rasulullah told the companion, you would meet the people of the book. It can be the Jew, it can be the Christian, and join them to worship Allah. after they have knowledge of God. After they have knowledge of God, then inform them that performing the 5 times daily prayers is obligatory. After they have the knowledge of God, you have to instill into them the knowledge of God. It's like an anchor. This knowledge of God is like an anchor. You are the ship. Without this anchor, your ship will be blown by the wind here and there. You need this anchor, and that is the knowledge of God. Without this anchor, your ship will be blown in every direction. And that's why Rasulullah says, after they have the knowledge of God, then tell them the 5 daily prayers are obligatory. And after the companion demise, the burden fell on the Gnostic or the Sufis. Gnostic. You can see. So Allah gave the knowledge of God to our spirit, the realm of soul or spirit. Then when we're born, we forgot about it. The prophet was sent, companion was sent, and after the companion, the Gnostic. And that is the Sufism, the way of the prophets. The way of the prophets. Sufism. Of those we have created are people who direct others with truth and dispense justice therewith. These are the Gnostic. From the Gnostic, God creation receive his blessing. Find the Gnostic before they disappear. Okay. Now, that is the Sufism, the way of the prophets. After that come the breakaway, and that is the tariqat. Okay. What happened was, in the 3rd and 4th century, after migration, persons who were interested in Sufism grouped themselves around prominent individuals who they believed to be Gnostic, hoping to be guided by them in this path. Okay? And therefore, at the 3rd and 4th century of migration, after migration, for the first time emerged in Islam, tariqat. Tariqat means a system of worship. And Ahmad Shirhindi, a scholar of Islam, named the Sufism the way of prophets, the way of the prophets, and the tariqat as the way of the saints, the way of the saints. So different. Sufism and tariqat different. Sufism had emerged when Allah, in the realm of spirit, introduced himself. Bismillah, Alastu bi Rabbikum. Am I not your Lord? And we say, Bala. Yes. That was a start. After the prophet, the companions, then the Gnostic. Then after that, because the Gnostic is difficult to find them, they never leave calling cards. Difficult. According to one book, at any one time, only one. And that is a difficult thing to find. So people try to find this knowledge of God by going to individual at a time who they thought to be Gnostic. So that was during the 3rd and 4th century. And they grouped among these individuals, and that was the first time in Islam emerged the tariqat, the system. And these people who they thought to be Gnostic endeavor to find ways to assist those who come to them to be guided. They had tried ways and means and had achieved success in elevating spiritual level. Thus, he created a framework in relation to this, such as meditation and its practices. Each master had its own individual path of spiritual uplifting. Hence evolved the tariqat, named after the founder. So, Tapuria is from Taifurism, related to Taifur, Abu Yazid Bastami, that the founder. Asutia, related to Suri Sukti. Ghazaria, related to Abu Said Al-Khazar. Nuria, related to Hussein Al-Nuri. Mula Matiyah, related to Hamdun Al-Kashar. So this system or tariqat are named after the founder. Now you have Naksabandin, Naksabandia, Chisti, Chistia, Qadir, Qadiria, named after the founder. And they have their own way of meditation, which are totally different from Sufism. So after that, the institution of Sufi or tariqat sprouted, they call Kanka, sprouted in the late century Hijriah, and then it spread around the world. Okay? So, but bear in mind, it's the 3rd and 4th century of Hijriah that the tariqat emerged, not before that. So during the companion time, there is no tariqat. And you can see tariqat, the way of the saints, at an exclusive place. The devices were guided by their teachers with a sheikh, leader, or murshid guide. So they are guided by the teacher. Since the teacher had successfully tried several ways and methods in spiritual upliftment pursuant thereto, they had devolved ways for meditation and other spiritual practices to be carried out. In this way, each teacher or tariqat had their own system. But basically, this is a system, the tariqat Sufism. You have to get a murshid. Then you have to take the oath of allegiance, that is by oath of allegiance. Then he gave you the way to meditate or spiritual practices, either verbally repeating the word, certain words given to you, you have to repeat. Maybe Allah, 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 something like that. You repeat that thousands and thousands of times. Then first from the mouth, then the heart. You have to repeat with your heart. And then mentally. So it's a lisan, verbal, cup, the heart, sir, mentally. So the meditation, you can see there are 3 steps. First verbal, then by heart, then by mental. And you have to overcome 7 stations of nafs, desire. And you can see here the 7 stations from Amarah, that is the lowest part, Amarah, to Lawama, to Mulhama, to Mutma'inna, to Radya, Mardya, and Kamalia. You must do your meditation and overcome the 7 stations of nafs. Okay? After you have done that, you have to wait, silent and wait. Wait for what? For the enlightenment. There is the Ma'rifatullah, enlightenment. After that, you are given certification and a graduation ceremony will be held, which is called Talqin. We can see there how this person got enlightenment. Shaykh Maulay Al-Arabi, he was instructed by his teacher to meditate by having the word Allah in his mind. After carrying out this serve, After carrying out this meditation slightly over a month, an inspiration came over him. I'm the first and the last. I'm the manifest and the hidden. Initially, he chose to ignore the inspiration, but it came back more strongly. Flabbergasted, he explained, I know he is the first and the last, as well he is the hidden. But how can he be the manifest? When what manifests before me are objects in various forms, how can be he the manifest? Then he was inspired that what it means is the manifest is that the internal become the external. Immediately, the true meaning of the inspiration crystallized before him, and he was enlightened. If you are not, we will enlighten you, inshallah, in the second lecture about this. Okay, but that's the way. And this person is a tariqat. See, after he meditate up to the sir level, he put alif lam lam ha in his mind and he watched it disappear. Again, he wrote alif lam lam ha in his mind. Disappeared. And then the inspiration comes. But so many people waited for the inspiration. 40 years, 50 years, never come. Many, my grandfather, my father, my uncle, never come. So the frustration was terrible. Okay. Once the dervish has surmounted all the training of the tariqat, he will be given a testimonial bearing his name. His name, the list of all his tariqat teachers in an ascending manner, and a blessed memento or his karka, such as a woolen garment, a guidebook on meditation, wirid, and his practices, wazifa. So once he has attained that, he will be given this karka, the book of meditation and wazifa. Once the dervish has attained that station, he will release by his master. In other words, he's now the same level as his master. Then he's divorced from his master, and now his protector will be Allah, who will alienate him from all. At the last commemoration ceremony that they will hold a ceremony for him, which is called Talqin, the master will leave a testament and advices on the device, dervish. So the dervish has his guide forever come. So he's released. He's now his own master. So that is a step. Okay. After you reach, you got enlightenment, your master release you, and you are on your own. And we can see the diversion here in the tariqat. As I say, tariqat is not Sufi, and tariqat is more of system of meditation. And what the diversion here? They believe they can be God. Man can be God. If you are able to annihilate yourself and be him and be God, then you will achieve immortality as him. God may manifest as man, just like an iron heated by fire becomes the fire too. And this is a diversion which the Sharia cannot accept. Sharia definitely cannot accept that a man can be God. And once you become God, what happened? You will not accept the Sharia. You say, I'm God. Why should I accept the Sharia? So you're out of the Sharia. Whereas the early Sufis, that is ourselves, the Sufis, operated within the boundary of Sharia. The innovative group is the breakaway, the tariqat. Not all, but many. The innovative group was the opinion that Sharia is only applicable to those who have yet to achieve the status of God. Right? But once this achieved, Sharia is redundant. Wow. So no need to worship, no need to fast, no need to go for Hajj, all that. And they even claim themselves verbally that they are God. Once they have attained the status of God, they may make utterances which are totally, they say, accidental. Shatahat. You see? Mansu al-Halaj. Anna al-Haq. I am the truth. Is God. Say Siti Jannah. Nothing underneath my shirt but Allah. Nasim al-Halabi. I am God. Abu Yazid al-Bastami. Glory to me. How majestic am I? You see? Man become God. The status of sin is higher than a prophet, you say. Whereas prophet or sin are forgiven. Sin are not. How can be the same? According to them, Moses learned from Gideon. They considered a sin. This proves that status of Moses is less than Gideon. Hence, the status of prophet is lower than a saint. Rabita, they were visualized because their murshid is God. So when they pray, they visualize their murshid or their sheikh. And this practice is paramount important, you can see. When they worship, they visualize the face of their sheikh or guru who has become God. And that is, they call the station of Ehsan. Worship as if you see God. And this is rejected. Rejected by the early Sufis. We, the early Sufis, we rejected them. Al-Quraishi said, Tariqat is so depraved that none could now find the correct path. Al-Hujri, Allah had created those among us who had defiled the name of Sharia according to their lustful desire, because they say they become God. Kalabadi say, people who do not know the real truth acted as if they were knowledgeable. They who were not learned acted as one. They acted contrary to what they preached, and what they shown were not what they hide. Al-Saraj. They appear in our time, many calling themselves Sufis. They are not Sufis. They are Tariqat. At the same time, claim that they are the real one. They are not the real one. They are not Sufis. Who could answer all queries about Sufism? Each of these rocks even claim writing a book or two on Sufism, which in fact utter rubbish to an equal rubbish question. Al-Saraj. And the Imam also rejected Tariqat. If you are a Sufi, that means you are a Sufi. These people claim they are Sufi. They will have their meditation group. In group, they meditate. So Imam Shafi said, you are with them, in their group in the morning. Chances are you'll be utterly confused before Dhuhr. Imam Hanbal say, I do not consider them to be good companions. Imam Malik, those who practice Sharia without Sufism is a fasik. Those who practice Sufism without Sharia is a zindik. It is because they're fed up with the Tariqat, claim they can be God, who want to follow Sharia and claim verbally that they're God. And what did Imam Ghazali say? In the course of this path, the Tariqat people, sometimes your personality took a tumble. Your mentality becomes confused, and physically you are exhausted. And when your tariqat training and endeavor to dominate your desire, the 7 desires, did not bring about the desired knowledge, the marifatullah, then you will languish in destructive hallucination, which will satisfy your lustful desire for a prolonged period until your time is up. And yet that which you crave for is still elusive to you. You're still not enlightened. but you live in hallucination. And Imam Ghazali also added, many of the Sufis, there is a tariqat people, treading this path were hallucinated. They do the meditation 20,000 times, repeating 10,000, not finished, bring forward and add new one. God, terrible. Many of Sufis trading this path were hallucinated for a period of reaching up to 20 years. If only at the outset they have good knowledge of religion, the falsity of their hallucination would have dawned upon them. And Said Sabik say, into Sufism enter the Dajjal. So they confused during that time, Sufism and Tariqat. And so it's our duty to show to them, these people are not Sufi, they're Tariqat. They're totally from, so they come out third and fourth century after Hijriah, where Sufism was from the beginning, and the realm of spirit started already. So Said Sabik say, into Sufism enter the Dajjals. So they claim they are Sufi. That the Dajjal created falsity and deception as well as laid back, making Sufism as a tool of their trade as well for making money. So they were rejected. Alhamdulillah, now the grips, their grips, tariqat grips, is much lesser now. Because people been following this way for 40, 50, even more than 50 years, and could not attain the enlightenment that they were looking for. People were disheartened and confused. So they gave up. Whereas for us, inshallah, as you can see in my lectures, I told people that we can enlighten you. Inshallah, one morning we can enlighten you. You will attend our lecture. In one morning we can enlighten you. And many things we were talking was foolish, And they attended. And they come say, yes, Master, yes, we understood now the knowledge of God. And they changed to be holistic. Holistic. And what is left after that is ibadah. Ibadah to be near to God. So you already known Him. Ibadah near to God. That's why Sufism, we don't teach you the meditation through the verbally cups and serve. Or meditation is never that way. Okay? You don't need to overcome the 7 desires to reach the enlightenment. No need. We took the verses in the Quran, and these are verses which have doors of enlightenment. Wherever you turn, there is my countenance. I am the manifest. I am the subtle. Okay? We explain to you how He's manifest, how He's subtle. He's vast, how vast is He. He's exalted, how exalted is He. He's most high, how high we explain to you. How He watches, watchful. Does He have billion eyes? How does He hear us? Does He have billion ears? No. How He knows everything that occurs all the time, whether in this world, outside this world, how He knows. We explain to you. Later on, we explain to you why there is tsunami, why there is earthquake, why there is flood, fire, storm. Is He cruel? Is it diabolical? We explain to you so you can understand that that is not correct. That's the way of the Sufis. Once you know God, what remains is, as Imam Ghazali say, what remains is ibadah, worship. So what we do, at night we wake up 3 a.m. in the morning, 3:30, we start worship, the non-obligatory prayer until Subuh. What time we even read the Quran, right? And then after Subuh, we continue with fasting. Only 5 days, Rasulullah say you can fast. 2, the Hari Raya, the Idul Fitri, Idul Adha, and the 3 day of Tashrik, you can. We fast because we want to subdue our desire. So at night, we worship Him. Daytime, we hunger for Him. And we live moderately. We live moderately. We give to charity. And our heart we fill with love for all. And we hold to Sharia. And we are fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. And it's a Sufi. But to attain that, before doing that, you must be enlightened. And that is awaluddin ma'rifatullah. You must be enlightened. And that is the first condition of a Sufi. You are not among us if you are not enlightened. Because if you are not enlightened, to wake up every night 3:30 in the morning and to worship until dawn, Fajr, dawn prayer, is really very tough. But once you are enlightened, it is there. And after that, daytime, you fast every day. For me, only Sunday I didn't fast because a lot of invitation from the society I cannot reject. So Sunday I give to society, but Monday to Saturday I fast already many, many years. And some of our people also fast the same way as I do. And then we live moderately. We are not materialistic. We read the Quran every time we can. Every spare time we can. And our heart is filled of love for all, even non-Muslim, even to animal, trees, and so on. And we hold to Sharia, especially pertaining to the worship. Especially Rasulullah say, follow the Quran and the Sunnah, my Sunnah. You will not be astray. You hold on to that. And then we are fearful of Allah all the time. We'll go deeper into that in the 3rd lesson or 4th lesson. But in the next lesson, inshallah, next Sunday, inshallah, I will open the door of enlightenment. If you are ready, be prepared. If you think you are not ready, then don't follow the lecture because you will change. You will change holistically. And people will tell you, hey, you have changed so much, You are no longer like before. You're humble, God-fearing, honest to God, harmless. You are totally not the same person. See? Because you know He's looking at you and you're looking at Him. You have the knowledge. And that put a shiver in you. And many of us always cry when every time this thing hit us, we cry, even me. And any time we cry, when the thing hit on us, that's looking at us and we're looking at Him. Right. Wherever you turn, there is me. I'm the omnipresent. So you will change. So if you are ready to be holistic, All right, next week I'll see you, inshallah. But you're not prepared, it's all right. Maybe another time, another place, once you are ready, you may get it from me or from the people that I guided, inshallah. So if you are ready, inshallah, by next week, we'll open the door to enlightenment, the way of the Sufi, not the way of the Tariqat. And our meditation is different from the way of the Tariqat. Okay. So I stop here and wish you peace and prosperity, inshallah. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.